Welcome to the Be Happy Now show. Flex your soul connection muscle and be your inner guide to fulfillment and purpose. I'm Claudia-Sam. If you know that you're here for a bigger reason, this is the place to be. Together, we ditch the self-care guilt and quit the go with less fear and more trust. Tune in to living life in alignment with your full potential. The Be Happy Now show starts now. Hi, I'm so glad you're here. Welcome back to another episode of the Be Happy Now show. I'm Claudia-Sam, and if you're watching the YouTube, you'll see that my view on this episode is the bomb. I'm in Nelson, New Zealand, at one of my beautiful friends' homes while I'm pet sitting for two of her beautiful, so fun doggies that I got to run around on the beach with the other day. And I wanted to let you in on a coaching conversation that I had with one of my clients who's in the Tune In program, which is a growth group container to help you gain more access to your inner confidence so that you can be in your light, so that you can feel like you're no longer in pain in your body, so that you don't burn out again, so that stress or your identities and roles no longer are what you identify to. And one of her questions was about shifting out of the go and doing more, because she finds more value in being present, in chilling, in being. And there is a fear of like, well, if I stop doing the things that have me be on the go all the time, well, will I be jeopardizing the relationships and the name that I have created for myself, because people know what I do and they look out for me and they're excited to get the results from the job that they gave me and the task that they know that I'll do. So I get that. And if you're listening and you're thinking, yeah, I've been there. I feel like, I have all these things to do and I want to do them all, but I think that there are some that are not super supportive, and I no longer want to identify with them. I no longer want to take them on, but I don't know how to let them go or how to even choose which things to keep doing and which things to stop doing. So she actually asked her question, and I did a recording for her because it was that kind of conversation where she asked her questions and I sent her the recordings of her response or of my response. And I wanted to let you in on that. Typically, it would be in a live conversation where her and I can go back and forth in a conversation. And this one is a little special and different. And so I was really happy to just invite you in that back end so that you can listen. And if having those kinds of conversations is something that you want and that you're curious about, well, I'm here for you. As your soul connection coach, I'm here to help you reconnect with your soul self, create a solid foundation so that tuning into your intuition is something that is a habit for you. And so that it doesn't feel like you have to jeopardize relationships or let go of things you've worked so hard to getting to be happy or to be peaceful or to be more calm and have more clarity of mind. Feel free to reach out to me on Facebook, friend me on Facebook, and send me a message right away and say, hey, I listened to the Be Happy Now show, and I'm curious about what it looks like to have more of these conversations. And we'll just start a conversation on Facebook Messenger, and we can go from there. You're also welcome to go to my website and look at the Work With Me tab, and you'll have some options there. My website is claudiasamsoulcoaching.com. And that's it. You go there and you'll find ways to contact me there as well, and other resources, ways to meditate with me, and maybe some freebies for you to take a first step towards prioritizing you. So enjoy this conversation as I answer the two questions from one of my clients in the Tune In program so that you can do less of the things that drain you and start being more the wholeness that you are without guilt and with full honoring and trust that you are enough. This is for you. Just saw your questions, and I will speak them out loud for all of you watching the recording. So I know I am doing too much, have too many roles. How do I identify which are ones that are in alignment for me and which ones are not? And then once we identify those that are not, how do I leave them in a kind, loving way that does not drop the ball? So thank you for your questions. Let's start with how some doing is a self-defense mechanism from the ego to be closer to the now. Some doing is a self-defense mechanism of the ego to block truth, to block light, to block what can be in the now. I'll give you an example. When I lived in Nepal for 2 times, but the first time it was a month, and I had come from, the busy modern 9 to 5 and more job, and then I went straight to the ashram where there was no doing. There was no 9 to 5. There was no schedule apart from learning and yoga and meditation and eating and going for a hike once a week, and all the busyness of doing and all these things that were in my agenda, they fell through. And what I was faced with was myself. I was faced with the calmness of the now. I had no other choice but to deal with the emotions, deal with what was in my mind, deal with the discomfort of light, the discomfort of ease and flow and happiness and joy. Because to get through to joy and happiness and ease and flow, there were emotions. There were barriers that had been created in my body. My digestion was horrible. In Nepal, we did this one cleansing detox thing where we had to drink salt water and do a few yoga asanas to move the toxins out of the body. And we were meant to go to the bathroom until it came out with water, like instead of excrement, it was meant to be clear water. Well, my digestion was blocked. So it was not an enjoyable experience. It never even got to the water part, I think, if I remember correctly. But that's, for me, what my human body had to go through before getting to the light. So I'm just saying this so that you can kind of see that doing is probably a habit that you've taken on, not your fault, to keep you away from flow, because it's a habit of having all these things juggle. What will happen if I slow down? What will happen if I chill? If I tune in and access the truth of who I am? What will I find? What will I find? And what I'm asking you here is, what can you find? What can you find? In a positive, open, expansive way, what can you find? So that your mind can go, oh, it doesn't have to be scary to be. So that would be the first step. What can I find? What am I excited and curious about finding and being with in the present moment? So that would be the first place to go. The second place to go is, okay, while I can be so excited about my findings in the being of the now, how do I want to feel? How do I want to feel? In other words, what do I want my experience of life to be like? Outside of the doing, of the busy, what do I want the experience of life that I'm having to be like? How do I want to feel? When you know how you want to feel, what you want your experience to be, it means that you are being intentional. You're choosing now, oh, hey, the doing is keeping me away from how I want to feel. Not all of it. Some can still take you to how you want to feel, but you're intentionally putting it out there to be aware of what's there, so that once you know how you want to feel, what you want your experience to be like, from a place of curiosity, of expansiveness, of I can handle the stagnant energy because I know that what I want at the other end is way more important to me. Then we answer your other question. Then is where we get to go, okay, now, third, where do I go from here in releasing the doing that no longer serves me? I get to release what no longer serves me. And so, how do you do it in a loving, kind way? It's very simple. It sounds simple. It is simple. Connect back, pause. So, when you are really anchored into what you want, how you want to feel, what you want your experience of life to be like, that's what you get to choose. It's very simple. You honor you. You get to honor you. So when you get to let go things, it's only to make space for what you really want. And so in order to communicate it and share it in a kind and loving way without dropping the ball, you're not dropping the ball. You are honoring you. Of course, if you have some tasks and roles that you're taking on, maybe you want to give, some notice and you want to do you and therefore help the next person come on board to taking your place. I'm sure you have a billion ideas on how to do the transition so that there is no ball dropped. And the main ball that keeps being in play is you, capital Y, you, your soul self, who you really are. What you're here to be, who you're here to be, what you're here to really do, which is honor you, honor your boundaries, honor your desires, honor how you want to feel. And that's what you have control over. And now you get to decide. Do I choose courage of honoring me, or do I choose comfort of keeping all the things of doing as they are to keep me away from honoring me? And mind you, it doesn't have to be one or the other. It can be both. Maybe there are things you're already doing that you just get to switch up a little bit and tweak so that they really truly honor what you came here for and how you want to feel and what you want to experience life like. That can be a way. For example, I remember there was a time in my life when one of my friends would always call me it was very draining for me. So we would spend hours on the phone and she would tell me stories about how she was being disrespected by one of the men she was dating and how she just wanted to stay in this relationship. And as I was seeing her wholeness, I was seeing her from loving eyes. It was really hard for me to bear seeing her being disrespected and unloved. I was seeing her not love herself. One of the things I did to honor me and to honor her was to say, I'm no longer going to spend hours talking about this on the phone. So I'm going to devote X amount of time. I think I reduced it. I didn't say that to her, rather than I said it to myself, so that when we were in conversations, I was able to know when my time was up. So when I had enough, so it went down from like 2 hours to 20 minutes per time that we were on the phone. So I was still doing the thing. I was still speaking with my friend. I just honored how I wanted to feel, which was uplifted instead of drained. And I also wanted to honor her and her capacity to love herself instead of being a victim and, sinking her own ship to a low vibe. So you get to choose. It can be both. You can still do what you're doing and reduce the amount of energy you give it, or just tweak it in ways that support you. And you also get to let go some of the things that aren't honoring you. So you get to decide. It's a powerful, empowering place to be in. I'm excited to hear what comes out of it. Okay. Have a great day.
You've been listening to the Be Happy Now show with me, Claudia-Sam. Flex your soul connection muscle and be your inner guide to fulfillment and purpose. You are worthy of being you and of connecting to what stops you from living the life you are meant to live. Access more soul connection coaching at claudiasamcoaching.com.